All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Andrew Tate versus Bonnie Blue Gets Wild. Now, I actually haven't even heard of Andrew Tate in the media for like ages. I want to say a year or two ago. You remember like when he used to pop up on the TikTok feeds and we would see him for like days on end, and that caused like that whole war and a bunch of creators came up off that. That was like the last time I'd seen him big. I know he's still around and doing shit, but like I saw this had some solid views. It looked interesting. Some of you might even know who Bonnie Blue is, which, you know, she has the, what can I say without getting banned? The 1,000 Men Challenge, and let's get to it.
I'm just a clever slut.
You are the perfect end result of feminism. That's destructive.
By the time you finish calling me a whore, I'm going to leave this chair with a wet patch.
Rob.
Whoa.
Bring the asteroid.
Do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years.
So sleeping with 1,057 men in a day.
It's good work ethic.
That was kind of
We live in
crazy.
clown world, and I just enjoy the circus.
Sex workers help reduce
You're a clown, and I just enjoy the circus.
rape rates by over 30%.
Do you think Andrew Tate is guilty of the charges against him?
You like there's no way out for you.
You're so trapped in the matrix.
You're judging me, Andrew.
Feminism is a bullet that a man.
This is a long
Do you
intro.
send your son?
And they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit.
Okay, here we go.
Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
How honest should I be out of 10?
11.
I want you to be honest.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, go on.
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's
Yeah.
your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. You are the
I did not expect him to say that. I expect him to say half of it, but not like all of it.
perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. You know, women complained that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices. So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But
He said, not me.
she's her own person.
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said I said
Are you
women
gonna
want to
be
be
a-
their own people. But my point is, there's so many women who go to Magaluf for a weekend and do something very similar, and then they come back to England and get with some fucking guy and start asking for presents from him and talking about how they deserve a traditional relationship and they want to get married and they want a Christmas present and all this bullshit. Most women do exactly what Bonnie does. I don't see you any different than most women. And I'm not saying that in a degradation
Most women
way.
don't sleep with 1,057 men in a day.
1,000?
You get the point of what he's trying to say, though. Like, yeah, like, obviously people travel and shit, but some of these chicks be on some different shit. I'll say that. You never really know what a person's up to in their spare time. That's why you just got to get so good at like vetting chicks that you bring around, because you just never know. You might like, I don't know if you might not even want to commit to that, but you got to check like every little corner. You got to do your research, ask around. You just never know. And then she not going to tell you the truth. So it just depends. Like, you don't like some of what he says, but some of the other shit he says is kind of true.
Does it fucking matter?
I think it does.
I don't really think it does.
So
It's all disgusting to me. If I met a woman and she said, I just sucked a dick yesterday, I'd say, well, I find you repulsive. I don't want to sleep with you. Goodbye.
What, so you're only going after virgins?
Well, it's not about only going after virgins, but I think if you're a straight man, the idea of having a bunch of men fuck a woman that you're with is pretty repulsive.
But everyone has a past.
But see,
Wouldn't
this
you
is the
prefer
kind of
your
shit
girls to have
white people say.
experience?
I mean, yeah, he called him on that. It's just kind of shit white people do say, yeah. Because you got to think, yes, you have a past, but to what extent? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if she had like a nigger or two in her past, but like, this type of chick, you know, she telling you she hooking up casually, she got 20, 30 bodies. If you want to commit to that, go ahead. But my advice to you, if you want like a decent life with decent women who like treat you well, just leave them alone. That easy. You can't really like make excuses for everything, because then it's gonna fuck you over worse. you know, every man is at a time in his life where he tried to play like Mr. Cleanup or Mr. Fix It or Captain Save-A-Ho, but it didn't work. You just have to learn your lesson at some point.
I don't know what's wrong with you people. Everyone has a past. That's not acceptable. In fact, let's analyze that. Everyone has a past. You're right. Everyone does have a past. It's true.
He about to go in.
But isn't the primary objective of a man to find a woman with as little past as possible? Would you argue that's one of the precursors to finding a wife?
I mean, you don't want no ran through bits. So
virgins. This was the deal. The reason I'm proud of Bonnie, and I am genuinely proud of you. I like Bonnie. I like what she's doing because the deal was.
Are you not like contradicting yourself?
He's trolling like a motherfucker
You're
too.
proud of her sleeping with 1,057 guys, but women should be virgins.
No, I'm saying that the social contract, the construct of society that made family function was women were obedient virgins and they found a man who provided for them and they listened to that man. Women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell you not to do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want, when I want. And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years.
And that's completely right. I feel like the point he's trying to say is, this is what you wanted. This is what you're going for. You can't, you know, pick and choose when you want to be virtuous or when you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no back and forth. There kind of is in between, but not really. It's kind of like you have discipline, you have morals, you have ways of looking at things, or you don't. And that's just what's going to set you apart or throw you right in with everybody else.
And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years, then in their bio it says stay-at-home mom of two. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
That's
because
right.
you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is fantastic. It's exactly what Western society is headed to. So why are we going to sit here and pretend this is not? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that most women who go on girls' holidays aren't doing something similar to what Bonnie does? Just because it's not on camera.
Hey, them girls' holidays do be kind of crazy.
That these men who walk around with their wives in the pub in England, and they're like, oh, my wife, yeah, everyone has a past. Oh, no, she's done the same shit. What's the difference? Who gives a fuck, right? We're either going to care and accept that women are judged on their past and judged on their innocence and judged on their naivety and judged on these things like it used to be, or we're going to sit and say it doesn't matter, everyone has a past. Well, if everyone has a past, everyone has a past. Who gives a fuck? Does it really matter?
So
anymore?
What would you do if it was your daughter, though?
But why are you asking impossible questions?
Well, it's not an impossible question.
Of course it is.
I feel like, okay, let's say you don't care, right? She got a pass, right? You can't try to fix something that don't want to be fixed. Now, it's one thing if she's better now, but I feel like that baggage is always going to be there. You can't never really get past that. It's one thing if you just trying to have fun yourself in the moment and you don't give a fuck. But once you get a little bit older and you start really like getting serious and vetting bitches, women, you gonna kind of understand that like, yeah, okay, this ain't it. Or nah, your tendencies off. Nah, you can't really move in the world I live in. Or nah, you wouldn't really be a good support to me. Cause I'm doing like the main shit that we need to do.
How?
It can't.
I know that sound like yeah, but it'll make sense later.
It's against the laws of physics.
It's not.
I mean, if your daughter opened her legs,
He trolling like a motherfucker,
a
too.
1,000 dicks, it's not impossible.
Of course it is.
What?
Why is
the
it
dicks
impossible?
would enter her pussy.
Why does he
therefore
say
she's
like
leaving.
that?
Literally
Of course it
impossible for my daughter.
What, are you going to be there against your daughter's pussy saying that dick's not entering
No,
it?
my daughter just wouldn't make that decision.
But why?
Because I still raise her in a household where she is masculinely guided. And she will be guided by me until I hand her over to some other man. However, I believe when women are left to their own devices, they will only ever make stupid decisions.
Was mine a stupid decision?
I wouldn't say it's any more stupid than most decisions women make, to be honest with you. I think that most women, to some degree, are sex workers anyway. Like,
I mean, yeah.
let's be honest about it, right? Most women look at Miami or Dubai. What's your job? Oh, I've got a boyfriend. So your job is being a girlfriend. And why does he give you money? Because you give him sex. So most women are sex workers anyway, to be honest.
But isn't that what you said the family unit was?
Well, then you're a sex worker with one customer. You know, which is nice. I guess it's better.
I mean,
It's
that's
more
an
efficient.
interesting way of putting it.
But what about if you're raising children? That's not sex work, is it?
No, that's being a mother.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, Rob. Rob said this, not me. So they're either virgins, sex workers, or mothers. Are those the three
I
categories?
think you're putting words into my mouth.
I think that's what Rob just said. Those are the three categories.
I'm just sat in the middle.
And women have to choose to be one of them.
His
So is that
face,
what you
bro. I
think?
know he's like, what
I think
the
that
fuck?
when a woman becomes a mother, she has a purpose. And I think that women should be having children as soon as possible. And I think it gives their life a direction. And I think it's the most important thing to preserve society, especially if you want to talk about geopolitics and talk about race and all of these things. If you want to have a country that looks like the country it used to be, you need to have the original people from there having children. I think all of that is true. Absolutely. I think every day a woman goes without having kids is primarily a waste of time. But once again, what does it matter what I think? Rob, I've given up. Rob, I've given up trying to save the world. I've
No, you
given
ha-
up.
no,
No,
you
no,
haven't.
Rob.
No,
I've given
you
up.
haven't.
He
I've
said,
given
no, you
up on
haven't.
misogyny and all this
No,
shit.
you haven't.
They attacked me with the Matrix. They keep throwing me in jail. I am now all for women empowerment. I think women should run around fucking as many men as they want. I like what Bonnie's doing. She's getting the bag. She's getting rich. Most girls out here don't want to have kids. They just want to get Birkin bags and Instagram likes. Good. I'm a feminist.
Oh my God.
Pro-feminism. This is the world now.
Said I'm a
How the
commentator.
world's going to end up, who gives a fuck? Who cares about the future? Doesn't matter.
See, women go around, use sex to their advantage, but then are happy to cry about it straight away. Saying, oh, he took advantage of me. And it's like, you're the one that wanted to do sex to have like the job promotion, or you're the one that wanted to have sex to get more attention or try and be more liked. But then they cry about it. And that's what I get frustrated about. And even with porn stars, like people in my industry, they'll do this for a few years, get the money, get the boob jobs, get the house. And then suddenly they go, oh my God, I was forced into the industry. Oh my God, someone took all my money.
Have
No,
you ever considered a job as a lawyer? I could do with you. You're 100% right.
I mean, yeah, I know in the PO industry, like some of it can be predatory, but you did make the initial choice to get into that. I don't think anybody forced you into that. And then it's like it's trafficking if they did. But you enjoyed that money. You enjoyed the upgrades to your house, to your life. And then you got out and probably realized like, that wasn't it. So you start trying to like damage control. That's usually what happens a lot of time. But you think like those companies not going to cover their own ass?
So this is the false dichotomy of society, right? So this is the reason when I said I like what Bonnie does, because Bonnie completely 100% owns what she does. And she said,
And she's honest. I can't fault a chick that's honest. I don't like, the chicks that lie. They're a whole different breed of evil, but you can't fault a chick that's honest about what she does. 100%. Because then you were fully informed before you got into anything. And that's the important part.
it's my decision. And I've seen people try and lecture you. I've seen people sit there and try and lecture you and say like, oh, but you're a creature of God and you shouldn't be doing this. No, you should do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
It's up to you to do whatever you want. And you're not saying anybody tricked you into it. It's your decision. And let's be honest, when they talk about taking women back 100 years, let's actually be very honest here, Rob. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
There's always been whores.
It's the oldest profession.
Ancient Rome had whores. There's always been whores. The Aztecs had whores. You think there weren't concubines in the fucking Ming dynasty sucking little Chinese pee-pee? Of course there were. There's always been whores. It's the oldest profession in the world.
Exactly.
So
Hey, that was a crazy example.
do you think it's a legitimate job?
Well, I mean, no, check her bank. I'm sure she's making fucking loads of money. So here's where do you draw the line? If we're going to live in this false dichotomy, because the world was very simple once, not too long ago. And men had this terrible misogynistic view, which I, of course, don't agree with, that women can't make their own decisions because they're naturally chaotic. And when women decide anything, life's fucked up. In fact, these men in their disgusting, these men in their disgusting misogyny believed if you gave women the vote, we'd end up with open borders and drag queen story hours. So they didn't give women the vote. Then they did give women the vote, and society took a particular direction. But when men were in charge of things, women didn't have to worry about what they can do with their life because their father took care of it and then their husband took care of it. But now we live in a brand new world where women can make all of their own decisions. And the path she's chosen, I don't think is any different than most paths women take.
I mean, okay, obviously he's at a very extreme point. But like I said in other videos, that just deals with self-discipline. What a lot of women like, where their pitfall comes at is, for most people, right? If you start out pretty and beautiful, right? And you get all the attention, you get all the opportunity to begin with, you never had a chance to build that character and that, life experience and that mindset that'll build you up to where you need to go. So it's kind of like certain people can't be left to their devices because they have none. They never built any. They never gained that knowledge, that perspective, that experience. So it's kind of like, yeah, of course they'll fuck up. You just threw them into the world. And then some of them don't care. And I think that's more so what he's talking about.
I think she's just more honest about it and more upfront about it.
Yeah, it's more
If you're
honest.
going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend and you think she hasn't been fucking for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, you go to like escort heavy places like that. Colombia, Thailand, you know, the hot spots, all the motherfuckers go. You can guarantee like a lot of chicks there that, at least the ones that come up to you, been doing some shit.
If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not fucking for money all of the time, now they may not say
They'll fuck you just for the status. Go to Miami, get a little yacht or something, throw some money around. You gonna get some hoes in there. Excuse me. I don't want to get banned, but you gonna get something.
per hour, but they'll be fucking a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're fucking a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are fucking for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women fucking for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who's honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks dick in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway.
What the fuck is Magaluf?
Rob, the world's fucked. They're all like this. Rob, they're all the same.
Are you trying to say I'm not special now?
No, I'm saying you're special, actually, because you've gone so far through. You've come out as the queen of it.
I'm still listening. I'm just checking my
Didn't
phone
you
real quick.
say this kind of thing?
I
is
lost
the
my parlay
demise
and
of
I'm actually
Western
like kind of
society?
mad.
I mean, if
Not
I was
really,
a
but, like,
misogynist, I would believe
it's fucked.
this is the final end
68
result
to 84.
of
Yeah,
feminism.
Thunder's
and the
gonna
end
win.
times are here, and that nobody's going to have kids anymore, and that the idea of a beautiful marriage between a man and a woman is now completely gone.
I think Thunder can
if
hit
I was a
100.
disgusting misogynist. But
Pacers gonna
since they
lose
keep
hard.
ra-
But you
raising-
don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with?
Okay. He did have a point there. You are not married yourself. I feel like once you resign yourself to like just getting money and like not dealing with every chick you meet or just not tolerating a lot of shit, you do kind of just skim out a lot of chicks. Like some people do settle for certain things in a partner, you know, just to get that marriage status, blah, blah, blah. And some people just have it delayed a bit further. And then some rich guys just mess with too many women to even really settle down or even think about that. So I think like, I don't know, if you young, like I'm 21, if you young like me, I say you can have some chicks around, but eventually it's going to be a time where like, if you do want to get married, you're going to have to like just gradually slow that shit down, slow it down. And then keep your eye out for like actual quality woman. And then you can go from there depending on where you are. But that's why you just build your status first. Because, okay, if some shit don't work out, even with the good one, if it don't work out, there'll always be more. You're not crying your eyes out over one chick because it's worthless.
With 1,057 women.
At least.
So are you
At least it's
quite
crazy.
similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's too much trouble. That's like the niggas have like 8 baby mamas and then, you know, can't pay child support. But it's like, dude, you're banging all these chicks and getting them pregnant and then be like, oh no, I have to pay. Stop doing that. Stop attaching women to you that don't need to be. As I said, just simplify it. Once you're done with your carousel of chicks or whatever you want, for the men anyway, for the responsible men, just cut all that shit out. And then you zero in on that one woman you want. I get it, you're young, you're building your money, blah, blah, blah. But just keep that in mind. Obviously, like I said, don't go to no Andrew Tate extremes, but there are some certain lessons you can take from here.
This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
Like I said,
think we
I
should do a
don't
breeding
agree with that,
competition. We'll see
but
if you
certain
can get a girl
things you can
pregnant
catch and be
quicker
like,
than I
okay,
can
yeah,
get
I need to know
pregnant.
this.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Wait,
one.
what did she say? I fucked up. Forgot.
if I was a disgusting misogynist. But since they keep
But you don't have one beautiful marriage, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Have you slept with 1,057 women?
At least.
So are you quite similar?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because it's the male's prerogative to impregnate as many females as possible. This is the masculine prerogative. This is biologically my prerogative is to do that.
I think we should do a breeding competition. We'll see if you can get a girl.
I think we should do a breeding competition. What the fuck?
Pregnant quicker than I can get pregnant.
Well, I mean, that'd be a good competition. I think I'd win. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but it's interesting because you have to look at society. When you look at these things, you have to look at society from an animalistic perspective and a societal perspective. From the animalistic perspective, it is the masculine imperative to get as many women as possible pregnant.
Yeah, but
if you want to be purely
look at his face, bro. Look at his
but
face.
Let's be purely animalistic. Let's talk about this like professionals. If a man is high value, high testosterone, alpha male, whatever you want to call him, right? His imperative is to impregnate women. And he wants to take care of those women and take care of those kids. He's not overly interested in the kids. It doesn't mean he doesn't love them. It means he doesn't want to sit there and play with them all day. When you see a man who wants to play with a baby all day, that man is probably gay. It's fucking boring.
Well, it doesn't mean he wants to fuck the kid.
That's a crazy take.
He's gay.
All right.
He's gay. So real men just want to pregnant.
See, like that's the stuff like y'all don't realize he's more so just trolling. Like nobody's going to call you gay for spending time with your kids. Go spend time with your kids, you know, but that's like something that'll get clipped and it'll go crazy and bring like more views to the video. That's kind of like the method he does. Just say a lot of crazy shit, but sprinkle some truth in there. Easy views. Now, how far you want to go with that? Up to you.
Money, cool. See you an hour a week. Boom, boom, boom. Now, there's a lot of men who are going to disagree with me on that, but those are a lot of men I can beat the shit out of, so I don't give a fuck. That's the truth of it. The female imperative is to find a man who's obsessed with her so that when she gets pregnant, she's going to have protection and provision when she's not capable of looking after herself. That is the female biological imperative and the masculine biological imperative. I'm still living to my biological imperative to some degree. If I were to, let's say, have 4 or 5 women and I had kids with 4 or 5 women and I
didn't know he had a daughter, by the way.
And I was with all of them.
When did that happen?
Exclusively only with me, and we had children over and over and over again. That's my biological imperative. It's actually against the female biological imperative to do what Bonnie is doing, I would argue. Traditionally. But that means you break paradigms. That's great. But feminism and society and this brand new societal conditioning is convincing women that what they're supposed to do, which is find a man they love and be obsessed with him and get pregnant from him, is the wrong thing to do. Well, then let's all just become sex workers now. But
you disagree with that feminist
program. I don't have an opinion, Rob, because I have 14 criminal cases. I don't have an opinion. I'm just here. I'm a commentator.
He said, I'm a commentator, dog. He said he's tired of getting thrown in jail every 5 minutes.
Women can do whatever they want. Women are fantastic.
And they get tired.
We live in this great society now where women are girl bosses and better than us, while also are equals at everything, while also everything they do they regret was a man's fault somehow, as Bonnie described. They were tricked into it. So we live in this impossible situation where a man can't possibly win anyway, no matter what opinion he has. But I'm just saying it would be unprofessional and hypocritical of me to sit here and think that Bonnie is doing anything different or anything bad or anything wrong when she does the same thing 99.9% of Western women do anyway.
Okay, so Bonnie...
You get one extreme to the next. You get the women like me that are just sluts, and then you get the others that are lazy and won't even get on their knees and give a blowjob.
And they're sluts too. No, but this is the thing. They're sluts too. They're just sluts for a different guy, or they were sluts for their ex, and they're not sluts for the new guy.
Right.
That's these women are sluts too. It's all the same.
Right.
But I used to be a full service sex worker, like an escort, and I used to judge men that cheated. And then when I actually started speaking to these men, I was like, you know what? They've got a point. They're going to work. They're looking after their kids. They're still emptying the dishes because the wife's now refusing to do that, saying it should be equal. And then I say, well, when's the last time she gave you a blowjob? When's the last time she fucked you? They couldn't name it. They couldn't even list the amount of times where they've had sexual intercourse. I'm like, of course you're going to need that. Of course you're going to cheat. So how?
Obviously, I don't agree with the whole cheating angle, but that happens in a lot of marriages. They just stop, the intimacy in them. That kills marriages from the inside out. And it could be for things like maybe stress from, taking care of kids or whatever's going on in the relationship. But that's just a realistic view. Like, you don't always know what's going on both sides. So it's kind of like a shaky ground there.
How can I ever say women are anything but lazy and poorly educated?
So do you think you're a good role model for women?
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years.
She said no.
Taking
That's a
control
no.
of your body,
Obviously, it's a
Correct.
no.
being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
Exactly. I'm paid more than other
100%.
guys.
Yeah,
Do
power.
you think
She is a clear
Best way you can
example
put it.
of what women have been fighting for years. Absolutely correct.
And now they've
I'm not
got it.
going to
They're
sit here and
crying.
lecture you about God. I'm not going to sit here and tell, no, that's all bullshit.
And honestly, yes. If this turned into like a whole, oh, Bonnie, you shouldn't do this, this video would be boring as fuck. The fact that he's saying like, yeah, this is what our society wants, this is the direction we're going in. Yeah, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but I think that's what people thought this would be, like a whole like big verses. And obviously they don't agree on everything because they're doing different things, but realistically, you didn't really think this was going to be a fucking fresh and fit type podcast where they just shit on her the whole time. That'd get really boring.
She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years.
Yeah.
Women believe that they can do whatever they want.
do you think they should be able to?
Listen, brother, I have 14 criminal cases. I don't want to be called
He said, I don't got no opinion, dog.
That's not up to me. We're all
This
individual,
nigga funny as
individual
hell.
sovereign people, and we make our own decisions. If women want to run around and do whatever they want to do, it's up to them. My point is, all women, on some scale, are doing what Bonnie Blue is doing. However, Bonnie Blue's just the best at it. She's the best. She's the queen of it. So why? It's
Not all women are doing
Let me ask you a
that,
question. Let me ask you a question. If a man walks into Starbucks and steals a chocolate bar, he's a thief. Yeah, correct.
Not in London.
Well,
It's legal.
Not in London.
and if a banker
Is London that bad?
manages to liquidate a ton of stock illegally in the stock market or rip off a bunch of people with a false investment fund, whatever it is, he's a thief, right? The morality is the same, whether you're stealing from the Wall Street or you're stealing from Starbucks. The morality of it is the same. But people will sit there and argue that the banker is somehow worse than the guy who stole the chocolate bar because of how much he stole. I wouldn't argue there's a difference in morality. There's a difference in capability. But the morality is the same. The banker's just smarter.
I'm just a clever slut.
You're just very good. She is very good at what she's decided to do. If you're going to be a whore, and most women watching this, and most men, hello, your wife, yeah, her, they're all whores anyway. If you're going to be a whore, no disrespect, you may as well be fucking good at it. Get a media empire.
And I mean, that's another thing, bro. Like, I know people was dunking on her, men and women, but at the same time, she's accomplishing her goals. She's getting her fucking name out there. She's doing it. Do y'all remember Lily Phillips? We haven't heard much from her. Bonnie Blue like basically took what she was doing and just tripled it and got her name out there and exploded. And that's why we're here now, right? I think to an extent, she understands how content works and how the more outlandish, the more contradictive you get, the more you're kind of rewarded. The algorithm doesn't necessarily reward positive things. It rewards things that get people to interact. Every time you leave a hate comment, every time you dislike, dislikes don't mean shit. It means you interacted. Now, if you don't interact, you don't get a watch time, then yeah, that's different. But as long as you interacted, you show that that content was engaging enough to get you to type something, share it, it worked. Her plan worked. And that's the important part in her scheme, anyway.
Get rich. Let everyone
Which is just a different side of what Andrew Tate does. You got to learn to identify that shit.
know your name and get paid. Why are you going out to the pub, getting drunk, and meeting a man who's funny and getting fucked in a toilet for free? Are you dumb?
They are, though. Women are stupid.
They're stupid. So Bonnie's just the smartest. She's the Wall Street banker of this whole shit. I respect that much more than these other girls. Rob, I grew up in Luton, England, bruv. You think I don't know hoes?
He said, bro.
You think I haven't seen it? You think I haven't
You think I don't know hoes?
walked in the toilet and some bitch has got 5 dudes hanging out of her? This is the Western world. This is feminism. This is what all you white boys wanted. All you white men listening to women all the time. Women get
He said, all you white boys. I be forgetting Andrew Tate is half black. I think his dad is black. Like real nigga, like real black. Like Drake's dad, sort of black. Andrew Tate, like I think he said his mom is Romanian. He's mixed. He's black.
Opinions all of a sudden. This is what you built. Congratulations.
So you blame men?
Well, 100% I blame men because everything's men's fault because men are the only ones who can apply force to scenarios. Women can't apply force. Men apply force. If there's something we don't like, we apply force to the situation. We could force this away. We could force most things away. So everything's absolutely men's fault. And this came from, I mean, the feminism and the women's sexualization and the liberation, a lot of it came from beta males hoping to get some pussy. That's what it came from. Bunch of weak men, though. If we told girls...
He talking about like the pandering niggas. Cause like it is some niggas who do like ally more close to a lot of shit. But there is definitely like a subgenre of niggas that just pander in hopes of getting women to like it. Not saying like, I don't know what specifically he means, but like, yes, sir, panders.
Be hoes, I might get a little bit. Because the natural order of the universe is
So I might
the
get
big gorilla, top G, smart. I'm so fucking smart. The big gorilla, top G,
top G,
has a bunch of women, and then the small gorilla has nothing. This is the natural order of the universe. It's actually kind of still like that in many ways. There's a guy with the yacht with 10 wives, and then there's a guy with no yacht with no wife. It's kind of...
And that's another thing. Yeah, this ain't no type of world where like you somebody gonna be like, oh, Jalen, you're at the bottom. Let me give you a yacht. Let me give you a couple women. No, they gonna step on you, and they gonna laugh in your fucking face as you get left behind. That's why you gotta train yourself, get up, get your money up, get everything together and everything like better about yourself, so you can get up there. If you want to be average, that's fine, but like that middle ground to be average is slowly closing. It's either you're going to be very wealthy or rich or poor. Middle class is almost gone.
I like that. But beta males didn't like that because they couldn't obviously compete with the top guy.
Right.
So they've tried to push this sexual liberation, hoping to get a little bit of pussy, and it probably works a little bit. But society's destroyed by extension.
But do you think the chicks who say that they ain't still fucking with those niggas that they claim to hate so much? I hate them. But they're still going out their way to be around them, still fucking on them. Somebody's lying here. And it ain't the men. It is the men lying to themselves, but like somebody else is lying here.
If you want to look at society for what it is, because what is society anything other than rearing and raising children? That's what society should be. I would argue society should be, the primary function of it should be, let's have kids so that we have a population. We have a population collapse in the West.
Yeah, I think they should have a choice. I before used to think, oh my God, I really want kids, I want a family. But it's because I was so naive to what else was open to the world. I just thought, okay, I need to get married. I need to, have children. I need to get a good job. And that was what I thought life was. And then I was like, fuck, there's so much more to life rather than just staying in that, finishing school, going to uni, getting married, buying a house. And you just copy everyone else. Like half the shit we do is because someone else has done it.
Okay, Bonnie, so let me ask.
Yeah, I mean, even from her point of view, like I'm about to be in my last year of college. I did want to do more. I didn't want to just go to university, work, get a normal job, and just do that for 40 years and then retire. I wanted something a little bit different. I had talent in content creation. I have multiple channels. I have multiple TikToks. I have multiple Instagrams. I was like, let me put that to work.
Let me ask you a question. I agree with you that now that we've opened up female horizons with education, with jobs, with the capability of making money, with Instagram and all these offers they get to fly around the world
Instagram
and all these things, women don't want to have kids or they want to have kids later because they have a lot more options. I agree with you.
I can't blame them for that.
Argue, if you were to look at it selflessly, not about the ant, but about the ant farm at large, that keeping women's horizons more narrow so they focused on rearing children would be better for society than the current society we're in, where we have to import a whole bunch of fuck knows who's into the country to try and maintain a population because the white people aren't even having any fucking kids because the white women are too busy sucking dicks in Magaluf.
Did you understand that?
To a certain degree, but
Why did he, bro? The camera cut is crazy as fuck. He said, "Did you understand that?" Get your dumb ass on, man.
I couldn't give a shit. The world's going to shit anyway. So whether or not we've got more kids in it or not, it's fucked regardless. So just live
Is she
your
like
life,
Scottish
right?
or
You're gonna be
something?
dead
I hear her
in 1,000
accent. It
years
doesn't sound
anyway.
like normal
So
British.
Don't stress too much.
Fair.
She's like
Fair.
fucked.
And this is what I like about Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is my favorite. This is my favorite everything. Fair. Because what you just said, I understand and I agree with.
But it's selfish.
But what have I
But
said?
why should I not be selfish? Why should I give a shit about someone else that pays less tax than me, has, sits and complains, makes shitty TikToks about me? Like, I couldn't give a shit if your life's going shit. By the looks of it, you live in a council house, you've got a couple of kids with different dads. I don't care.
And she's cooking. She's honestly cooking, right? You around these people who do nothing to change their situation. I get it if like a chick, she feels like she has no other way to get up there. She's like, fuck, I got to do something. That's the name of the game. You got to do something. You can't sit there and just rot all day. You ain't gonna never be shit.
So why should I sit there and think, fuck, I should do something to help you? I don't.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to help you. Why would I want to? Why do you think like you go up to a rich person, ask them, hey, can you do this thing? Be like, nigga, fuck you. I'm not helping you. You wouldn't even be ready for them to help you. As I said, you gotta build your own self-concept, self-discipline, your own skill set. And then you start networking and getting up there and then be like, hey, I'm trying to do this, blah, blah, blah. Can you set me up with so-and-so? Can you help me do this? I just figured that out this past summer. I was in a room with people like that, but I feel like they could sniff out that I wasn't fully where I need to be. Like I had the basis of it, but I wasn't there just yet. So when I get back in the rooms like that, I'll be much more prepared because I fucked that up to begin with. I had to fuck it up the first time.
Okay, I should focus on myself. And if more people did that, the world actually be a better place.
Focus on
because
yourself.
I'm so fixated on other people. I'm like,
It's like a
where's
matter
your
of
life? Why are you not
selflessness
focusing on yourself?
versus
Like,
being
look in the mirror,
selfish.
you're
And
fat.
if you
Go
can
do
find a
something
middle
about
ground
it.
of
Your
that,
teeth have that much plaque on it.
you
Like,
kinda
you're
win.
fucked. Like there's no way out for you.
No, but what
Is this a good role model?
No, yes, because no, but what
No,
No, yes.
No, what Bonnie's saying is important here, and it's not about what she's saying. It's about the general attitude. Because what I want to make clear, the reason society was run by men for so long is that men have a different biological instinct to women, and we're prepared to suffer for the greater good. Women
Hold
are
on,
not
we're
very
like
good
20
at
minutes
suffering.
in.
Men are good sufferers.
Might go another
Look back
10
at the
minutes.
wars. There's so much evidence of it.
Well, of course. And also, let's just look at the normal family. You talked about these men who come and see you, right?
Yeah.
But happy wife, happy life is true. And the reason it's true is because if the wife is unhappy, everyone's miserable because she'll
Yep.
make sure of it. But if the man's
Yes, that's very, very true.
unhappy, everyone else can be happy. He'll suffer. He'll sit with no sex. He'll go to work every day.
Yeah.
He won't see his friends. He'll be miserable. He'll be depressed. He'll still pay the bills. He'll still pay the taxes. And everyone else gets to be happy.
Oh yeah, that's very true. How many times your dad mad about some shit, but he put up with it. He put up with it. He do whatever. And then your mom get mad and the whole house feel it. You feel that shit. She don't let you go to bed without feeling that shit. Even if you ain't got nothing to do with it, you gonna feel that, right? Or your girl angry, right, about something. She gonna make sure you feel it. She gonna be petty as hell. But you angry, you a man, you got to control yourself. You got to do this. You got to do shit for the greater good and the people around you, because that's the energy you have to act in, right? That's very true.
Men are good at suffering. Women are spiteful sufferers.
Mm-hmm.
And for that
Exactly.
reason, they struggle to do anything. They struggle to suffer themselves for any greater good. Men have always died for a greater good. Men have always said, this is bad for me, but
Yeah.
it's good for society. Bonnie just quite correctly, quite pertinently highlighted the fact that she believes in living her life the best way that she wants to live so she is happy. And I agree with you. That's what you should do. That's fine. If
Yeah.
you're a woman, that's how women think. Women don't think I shouldn't do this because I care about society by and large. Women don't think that way. And once you understand that logic, you can extrapolate that out to the fact that women shouldn't be in charge of a country ever, because women are...
He threw that shit at the. He made sure to throw that shit in. Goddamn. Like this nigga Tate is like, he's never afraid to throw some shit in. Like he will say that shit. But back to like the whole sacrifice talk. Like yes, like let's say you out with your girl in public, and nigga talking crazy or like trying to harass her. You gotta beat that nigga ass or something. Or like you get into some shit, right? You get arrested. you know, you okay with going to jail. You okay with sitting in there. You be like, fuck it. You know, that's not a good example. Damn. Like she get in some trouble or something, right? Like she hit somebody or blah, 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 or somebody get hurt. You not going to let her sit in there, even if she is in the wrong. You can't let her sit in there, right? Because it's your job to protect. So you might say, fuck, all right, I got to go. I got to handle this or do whatever. And you'll do that. But they won't. They might do that behind like, you know, they kids or something, but they're not doing that for like, they're not really going to do that for their fam. You'll do that for your fam. Close fam. I don't know how close you are with your families, but you'll do that for like the people you love and care about. But I promise when it comes down to her and other people, she going to choose her. Okay? At the end of the day, she going to choose her. I promise.
They're not prepared to take a bullet for a country, ever.
I mean, I guess I contradict myself a little bit because I help society out a lot. And I do that because do you see how many dicks I drain? How many balls I've been emptied out on my face?
Holy
how many cream
fuck.
pies I've taken and scooped it out? Like,
And how does that help society?
Top 10
sex
worst
workers
things a
help,
year.
like, reduce rape rates by over 30%.
Really?
That sound like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mental health, it's good for mental health as well. It
The
stops
true
men
fact is
killing themselves.
32%.
Yeah, stops men killing themselves. Sex work, because sex work's an important part of the world. Sex
So
work-
imagine, like, if you're
Are you
a
saying that
rapist.
because you had a webcam business?
I'm not saying that because I had a webcam business. I'm saying that because it's absolutely and utterly true. The only point I was making earlier about women being in charge, I was actually trying to get to a final point. And the final point I would argue is that Bonnie has done no damage to society compared to giving the women the vote.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example, if
do you
you're-
vote?
Not to be honest, I don't really know what's going on in the
Okay,
world.
so do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking
I am
dick.
wife
Jesus.
She's
material.
sucking dick. She's not voting. This is the kind of women we need. This is done. This is fine. If
He
we
don't
stop
care,
women, we take
man.
the
He
women's
just-
vote away. If you
he
said
just
to me,
go on
Andrew,
with it.
fix society, all the women can either vote or be like Bonnie. I'd be like, make them all like Bonnie. Give the men the vote back. We'll fix all.
Even your daughter.
Yeah. Why would she need to vote? I'm voting. Why would
He
she
don't
need to
give a
vote
fuck.
when I'm voting? You're gonna vote.
He
against
said
your father.
he don't give a fuck.
What kind of world is that? You know, it's really interesting to me. Since I had daughters, and I have a bunch, people always said, when you get a daughter, you're going to change your opinions. No, I fucking didn't. When you have a daughter, you know, you see these dudes and they have a daughter and like the daughter's putting makeup on and they're like, girl dad. Just because you have a girl doesn't mean you become gay.
I think that's cute, though.
No, but no,
Makeup on.
I'm never going to she's never going to put makeup on my face. I'm never going to be like, oh, my daughter wants, so I guess I just
sound
gave
like a
in.
farmer when you say
She
that.
melts my heart. No, you're going to obey me because I am your parent and you are my child. My child can't vote against me ever. That's civil war. That's against the rules.
That's the way to look at
against
it,
the
I
just
guess.
working of the universe, sir. For me to have a certain opinion and my own offspring to have countering opinions. You think I'm going to be sitting at some fucking dinner table in 20 years and my daughter or my sons, any of them, are going to be there arguing with me about anything. Actually, in school, I learned. You better shut the fuck up.
Now, obviously, y'all, sometimes he go off the deep end, but that's just part of his character, you know?
Because you're in my fucking house. It's my mansion. It's the Tate millions. You're living on my money.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, if I had millions like that, I'll put up with it. But I feel like that's subjective because, like, if you already rich and all your kids knows a rich lifestyle, that's all they know. They don't know being poor. Like, that's easy for me to say, but probably not for them.
You're going to do as I fucking say.
Until they're 18 or they move out.
Until, if they want to completely cut me off and build their own version of life, I guess they could do that, but they won't do that. That's impossible.
It's how
Because-
you bring them up. Like when they're 18, yes, they're an adult, but it's how you've brought them up.
Of course.
Like my
But
parents brought me
do you
up.
have
as
kids,
much as-
though?
No, I don't.
No.
But like my parents, I mean,
Probably
everyone
for the
says
best.
my parents can't love me, my family must have disowned me. It's not the case. My family brought me up to be independent and live my best life, how I want to live. And as much as people think that is so shameful, that's disgusting, like my life's become so much better and I'm happy. As much as people think I should be scarred, could kill myself and everything else, it's like, I am happy. I genuinely live a much better life. So my family are nothing but proud of me. So
Are you really happy?
Really, really happy. Happy
You-
and wet
when you're
most of the
alone,
time.
you're happy.
She's not voting. She's great. This is what we need. Do you want to be prime minister or not really?
No.
See? Done, bro. This is it. This is what we need in society.
This nigga funny, bro.
Honest about their sex work, because all women out here are sex working anyway. When's the last? You've been in Dubai recently.
Yeah.
Find a woman who ain't sex working. That is a challenge, sir. $1 million to find a woman who ain't living off a man. Because that is sex work.
Dog, his face. Just look at his face, bro. Like, he's like, fuck, this nigga got me.
You giving sex and she's giving you money. That's the game. I tweeted
It's actually so true. I've never thought of it like that.
I tweeted
when
this.
people are boyfriend and girlfriends, the
It's
majority
sex
of the
work.
time they do a low paid job. They've not got the education to do anything better. So, and they're having sex with the partners, keep them interested. The partner's paying the bills. It's a sex work with one client. just like you said.
100%.
That's definitely a way to look at it.
And the whole world lost its mind because you know me. I'm a provocateur. But I said, yeah, women are sex workers. You can either have a bunch of customers with OnlyFans, or you can have one customer called a husband or boyfriend. Or you can be ugly, and unfortunately then you got to get a job. But if you're pretty enough, you don't do that. You find a boyfriend or a husband or a sugar daddy, whatever you want to call him, and he's paying your bills. Go to Saint-Tropez, Monaco, Cannes, go to Miami, go to Dubai, go to Hong Kong, go to any of these cities and find a beautiful woman and ask her job. She either doesn't work because her boyfriend takes care of her, or she has some bullshit vanity project which loses money that her husband.
Honestly, it's not 100% crazy to say that. Think about it. Like we said earlier, you're a beautiful woman. Every guy's approaching you, you know, poor, rich. You're going to go for the rich ones. You're going to go for the tricks, right? You have plenty of money and simps and niggas buying you food, probably not getting nothing. They just doing it just because you're pretty. So I mean, that's not crazy to say. Or she got a man who's like just like that and just funding that lifestyle. She ain't working. Some pretty girls do work, yes. But usually it's in like, I can't prove it, but usually it's in like cycles. If that makes sense. And usually they ain't working for too long, or they don't want to be working for too long. Unless they're in like a hard profession like a doctor, nurse, you know, lawyer. It's a lot of pretty lawyers and doctors. But for the most part, like chicks who aren't in any like crazy dedicated profession like that, they got a nigga behind them funding that lifestyle, or their dad's rich, which is a whole nother lifestyle.
Husband pays for. Owns a flower shop that loses money each month. Great. Businesswoman. Independent. Bullshit. Women are only ever been sex workers. Women have only ever translated their pussy
This
into
nigga
money.
Crazy, bro.
Or pussy into provision. Or pussy into protection. That's all women have ever done. Let's talk about the ancient days. When the ancient whoever's, the tribe, got conquered by another tribe. You're sitting around, there's 100 men, there's 100 women, the 100 men go out to war, they lose, the conquering tribe comes and takes over the ground, takes over the women. What do the women do? Here's some pussy, don't kill me, please.
It's not 1500 anymore.
No, but it doesn't matter. That's all they've ever done. And I'm telling you now, you know you watch Hunger Games and there's fucking Katniss Evergreen running around with her bullshit fucking bow and arrow. When World War III finally comes, you're just going to see a whole bunch of women hooking. That's all they're going to do. They're like, shit, World War III, I need money. I need a man who can protect me. Here's some pussy. Anyone?
I would have fucked Hitler to survive.
Of course. Women will fuck anyone to survive. Look at France in World War II. You hear about the war brides? They all had their heads shaved. You don't know about this? Oh, you didn't know. I'll tell you.
I did hear about that. It was the French girlfriends, or like some of the French girls were running off with like some of the SS officers. And obviously like the French soldiers would get wind of that. And they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? And they like shave their head bald. It's like punishment. But it's crazy how like that nature permeates just like time and everything.
Tell you, the Nazis kicked the fuck out of all the French. Then the Nazi soldiers turn up to Paris. Nazi soldiers have money. Average French man, he either lost in war, lost a leg, and has no money. He's a brokey. The Nazi guy, he's got money. He's got the German Deutschmark. He's got a nice uniform. He's a winner. All the French women were fucking the Nazis. They killed their husband. They're fucking the next guy a year later. Why? Because he can provide, he can protect. They give him status. They get to go out and party. They all had their heads shaved afterwards once the Americans kicked the Germans out of France.
I would have been bold straight away.
Well, there you go. This is what women do.
She didn't even wait on that.
Women say, okay, let me look at the world. I'm not as strong as a man. I'm not as determined as a man. I'm not as intelligent as a man. I can't do any of these things men can do. What's the one differentiator I have? Pussy. So let me turn my pussy into what I want.
Obviously, unless she's like really smart. Anybody can do what the fuck you want to do. But everything takes work and depends on like how much time you're willing to put in. That's like the deciding factor. I know Tate goes off the deep end, but Yo dedication is going to decide like what you can and can't do. Nothing else.
Wrong. That's not a bad thing. That's just understanding the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think this is a positive message for society?
I'm not here giving any messages.
He's a commentator.
Sir.
I'd
He
say
said,
you're
"Stop
saying it's
asking that."
factual.
Commentator
I'm a
give messages.
commentator, sir. I see the I'm not playing football. I'm commentating on the
I'm
game.
commentating.
That's all I'm doing.
And
I'm not
people are
saying-
listening to you.
Well, they're listening to me commentate. I'm telling everyone how it works.
Everything we've said you'd learn in history at school. Everything we're saying is factual. It's
What,
not. We're not
what
just
would you
saying.
learn in history at school about?
Well, I didn't really listen
sleeping
too
with
much at
people?
school, but yeah,
There's
I
a
learned at
lot
school
of this
that people had
interview.
Shaved.
Yep.
Like you learn about what happened at the war, and that happened. That's
We
factual.
might have to
You
do a
don't-
two-part
You
for
didn't
this.
ever learn
This
at
is
school
a
all the women
really
went to
long
war.
one.
No, of course they didn't. They stayed at home. They cooked. They had the house ready. Like
So-
it stayed the same. Everything we're
Rob,
saying is factual.
Yeah, like Rob, what have I said that's incorrect? And the reason I'm saying all these things is to highlight how it's awfully hypocritical for anybody in modern Western society, anybody who believes in women's liberation, anyone who believes women should be allowed to vote, anyone who believes in women are allowed to lead a country, anyone who listens to their wife's stupid opinions on anything, to give Bonnie a second of hard time.
Hey, yo.
Because it's all the same thought pattern. It's all the same thought process. If you're a man who says, I have a wife and we got married when she was a virgin and she doesn't vote and she obeys me absolutely and I'm the king of this household, then maybe you could have an opinion. But if you're going to sit there and go, oh, my wife has a past, but I love her anyway, then fucking shut the fuck up. And that's 99% of men. Rob, do you understand that about 3 times a week I see a woman I've plowed get married on Instagram? Do you understand? I see it. I see the man walking down the aisle holding her hand, doing the whole humiliation ritual. I see the whole thing. He got on one knee. And I just watched it. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that though.
No, but there is.
But why? Like,
Because I know what happened that night.
but people.
See, I feel like that's kind of back with the past thing. Like, you got to realize, depending on how crazy your past was, that's always going to be in her books. There's always going to be a nigga walk around who has some video or something that can ruin your day. And you really can't even use the excuse like, oh, I'm with her now. Like, nigga, I got it before. Got it before, you dumbass. You could say that's childish, but it's like at the same time, that's too much baggage. And most of the time, them chicks ain't really moved on. You just a nigga who settled down. That's why I said you got to vet very, very, very carefully. And until you learn to do that, just don't even bother. Just build your own self, build your garden, build your money, build your strength, build your physique, build your mindset. Just keep growing. All right, y'all. I think that's about it for this video. It's a really long one. This is like 3 hours, basically 2.5, 3 hours. I think I'll do a part 2 just purely because there's way more content. You got like Real Men's Job. I'm sure there's a lot more to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Comment what y'all think. Like, there was a lot said. I had a lot of points. Just let me know like how y'all feeling about this. Like, I'd say I was pretty reasonable. You know Andrew Tate. He has some reasonable points and then he has some very extreme points. But I guess that's why people watch it. That's why people click. It makes for an interesting video. I'll give him that. And then having Bonnie Blue here was a whole other wild card. But anyway, my name's Crimson, or more Crimson. See y'all next time.